This is my black Strat. I'm going to go through 5 easy steps to upgrade this thing into a David Gilmour inspired Blackie, just like this one. I'll go through each step one by one, document the procedure, summarize everything at the end, and then we'll do a final play and sound check. So stick around. If you have any questions along the way, drop them in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
Okay, so first we're starting with my black Strat. This is a 57 1980s reissue, and it's pretty relic, but you can use any black Strat. Use a Mexican made or a Squire. First thing we're going to do is change out the bridge pickup to a Seymore Duncan SSL-5. This is the preferred pickup for David Gilmour, and this was the one used in his Blackie guitar. So we're going to pop off the knobs and get this thing ready to change out the pickup. So I'll speed this up. Remove all the screws. Save the hardware for future reinstallation. Okay, lift off the pickguard assembly. What I like to do always is take a picture of how everything is connected. So in case I forget where things were connected, I have a reference. I'll even make a hookup diagram. This is not necessary, but I like to do it, and it kind of helps me visualize how things are connected and what the circuit paths are. So we have to desolder the bridge pickup. If you're not comfortable with soldering or don't have a soldering station, you can take this to any good guitar tech and they will do this for you. It's pretty simple. It's only 2 wires for this. And we're going to drop out the pickup. There we go. That's the factory stocked Fender pickup. And here's the Seymore Duncan SSL-5. Brand new. Has a little bit more weight than the standard stock Fender. A little more heft. It has more windings. Alright, I'm checking the wiring diagram just to see if everything matches what I have. Looks good. So the pickup came with fresh mounting screws and rubber standoffs. So I'll use those. So put that in, thread the rubber standoff on the screw, and mechanically install the SSL-5. Okay, once that baby's in, we will reconnect it. So basically going to cut and strip tin the wire. And again, if you can't solder or don't have a soldering iron, any good guitar tech can do this for you. And the black wire was a little long, so I cut that back, stripped it, tinned it, and then put that back where it was. There we go. That's connected. And we'll dress the wires a little bit. Okay, next step. I'm going to change all the pickup covers from black to Fender white pickup covers. So we're going to loosen the screws and change those out. Very simple. Just a mechanical change. Drop those in and tighten it back up. All right. And that looks good. Now I'm making sure that the pickups are still connected. All right, do a little quick output check. Okay, next step. This is the biggie. We're going to add a micro switch to give us 7 positions instead of 5 positions. So I'm going to disconnect the whole pickguard assembly just for ease of working on this thing. So we're going to desolder the input connection. Now this is a switch bracket for the micro switch. I made that. You can buy that online. I've seen it out there. I didn't feel like waiting, so I was able to find a mechanical drawing and kind of banged one out. Now what this allows me to do is mount the switch on the pick guard without having to nut it from the top for a little cleaner look, but you can just drill a 1/4 inch hole and nut it from the top if you don't feel like using the switch bracket. Alright, so I'm loading that in. Switch bracket's in place. You load in with the volume pot and the tone pot, and then you spot the hole for the switch hole. So I put a little center punch there, drill a little pilot hole. Now I forgot there was a metal plate under there, so I have to get a little more tough with that. I'm going right for the 1/4 inch hole, and that's it. So now the switch goes in. I'm just marking orientation. Now I have to take the bracket off to mount the switch to the bracket. So I pre-mounted it just for spotting the hole. I'm tightening the switch on the switch bracket, and then I'll reinstall that. And the switch bat is going through the 1/4 inch hole on the pick guard. Tighten the nuts back up on the pots, and there you go. So now we got our little micro switch next to our 5-position switch. And again, if you don't want to drill and put a switch bracket in, you could drill and nut it from the top. The switch comes with a nut. Okay, checking the diagram. That micro switch is going from the bridge position to the switch and then going to the first pot. And what that allows us to do is get 2 more pickup combinations. Now, one thing I noticed that in the diagram it shows all the cans of the pot are connected to ground. My Strat did not have a ground wire to each one, so I added that to it. It was probably relying on the metal plate for common ground, but I want to make sure that the thing's always connected. Okay, so wire up the switch, tin up the contacts, tin up the wire. So first thing, I'm going to wire to the 5-position switch and go to one side of the toggle switch. I'm going to put a piece of sleeving on there for insulation. Alright, so one side's done. Now I wire that black wire to the center of the switch, and that's going to go to the first pot. And these diagrams are online if you need them. A lot of good pictorials out there. Okay, so now we're going to reconnect the input jack, and I have a ground braid wire on there to the shielding, so I have to reattach all that stuff. So the same way it came off, it goes back on. Solder that in. Again, if you don't have a soldering iron, go to a good guitar tech, tell them what you want to do. These are very easy mods. That ground braid was giving me a little bit of trouble. Okay, one last time, checking the wiring. Everything looks good. Dress the wires. We'll drop everything in and we'll give it a quick connection test. Middle, bridge. Okay, now here's the new one. So we got the bridge and neck position, and this one should be all 3. There we go. So now we have 2 more combinations. All right, reinstall the pick guard. Remember, don't screw it down too hard. You may strip the holes. I just go hand tight plus a 1/4. I'm going to pop the knobs back on. Alright, now I take a look at this thing. Looks really good. There's a little micro switch. There's 5-position switch. Looks great. Now I looked at this. I noticed I got bright white pickup covers. I really should have gotten these. These are the vintage cream colored ones. So I made a mistake. I'm going to have to take it apart and put the cream ones in. They look better to me. but again, it's personal preference. Since I'm going for the Gilmour look, his are kind of faded, so there we go. Now it looks better. There's a little bit of a detour, but there we go. Now checking the output again. Make sure everything's working. Okay, next one. Add the David Gilmour Signature GHS strings. Now these things are pretty much like Ernie Ball Super Slinkies, but they're a little heavier on the low end. Ernie Ball Slinkies are 26, 36, 46. These are 28, 38, and 50. So you got a heavier bottom end. Next is adding the short Gilmour trem.
Here's the final results. And bonus, I added a Gilmour strap. So now we're really authentic. I'm going straight into the amp on the clean channel. All the tones are at 12 o'clock with a little reverb. So here are the 5 upgrades. We added Seymore Duncan SSL-5 pickup bridge position. We put in the micro toggle switch here to give me 7 positions instead of 5 positions on pickup selection. Changed the pickup covers from black to cream color and the knobs. Added the Gilmour trem and put on the GHS Boomer Gilmour strings. Let's hear how everything sounds. I'll start with the bridge position. This is definitely warmer and a little more output than the standard stock Fender pickup. Go to position 2. This is bridge and middle. Has that stock Strat sound. Middle pickup. Middle and bridge. And now the bridge. Okay, let's go back to the bridge pickup. And now I'm going to flip on the micro switch. So now I have bridge and neck pickup. It's a cool sound. Now flip it up. This is all 3 pickups. Another cool sound. It sounds slightly out of phase. I'll go back to the bridge pickup. This is the Seymore Duncan SSL-5 with a little distortion. Let's hear how that sounds. Sounds great. This has a nice warmth to it and definitely has more output. So that's a wrap. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments. Thanks and catch you next time.